Now, we both know that shopping for a rug can be challenging. You've either got insanely expensive handcrafted rugs or the mass-produced alternatives that won't hold up. But that's where Revival Rugs comes in. Revival's founders didn't want to spend thousands on a new rug, but they didn't want to settle for less either. Revival is a global company with teams in the U.S. as well as weaving regions in India, Turkey, and Morocco. Revival works with artisans to preserve rug-making traditions and pass on this value to you. Eliminating middlemen allows them to remove steep markups, giving you amazing value at incredible prices. And Revival's popular washable rugs have the look and feel of a real rug, so you don't have to sacrifice style for convenience. And my favorite, which I ordered, is the sweatshirt rug, and I also love the stripe rug. So spruce up your space with Revival Rugs. Visit revivalrugs.com/realitylife and use code KateCasey20 for 20% off your first order. That's revivalrugs.com/realitylife, code KateCasey20. One more time, revivalrugs.com/realitylife with code KateCasey20 to save 20%.
Culture evolves at the speed of light, just like your financial needs. When it comes to your money, Credit Karma keeps you in the know and ahead of the game. You can count on Credit Karma to keep up with your financial needs as they evolve. We'll help you monitor your progress and give personalized recommendations so you can make strides towards your goals and find your way to money. Make sure you're on the right track, no matter where you are on your financial journey. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. Hope that you had a great weekend, and I've got a great list for you for this week. This is my birthday week, so I wanted to give you guys some great options. Make sure that you are subscribed at katecasey.substack.com, because if you're in the car right now, you're on a run, maybe you're doing something at work and you're thinking, I got to write that down. Fear not. If you go to katecasey.substack.com, the list sits there. So you can share it with the people in your life. You can go back, you can access it. It's going to save you a ton of time and aggravation. And it's the what to watch list with Kate Casey every week. So katecasey.substack.com. And then, of course, make sure, by the way, that you are in that Facebook group, Reality Life with Kate Casey, because you're going to get fired up this week about something that you've been watching and you want to talk to somebody about it. And you can text your friends and your family. And oftentimes, I think, if you're somebody who likes to devour stuff, you're like, no one's watched it, who do I talk to? You're going to find your people in there and you can just post about it. Like, has anybody watched this? And then you can get in a real riff. Now, also important, because the people in the group are also going to tell you great books to read, series to watch, movies to watch, and other podcasts to listen to. So go to the search button on Facebook and put in Reality Life with Kate Casey. And then, of course, bonus episodes. I've got extra episodes for you too. You can get them at Patreon, patreon.com/Kate Casey, for more behind the scenes stories, life anecdotes, true crime, aristocracy, pop culture, all of that. Okay, first thing I have to tell you is, I've told you about this ID Discovery Max series called Hollywood Demons. I'm going to be in the April 14th episode about Real Housewives. This episode is called Hollywood Demons. Last week was Stephen Collins. There are going to be 6 episodes. One's going to be about the Power Rangers. This week's is Child Stars Gone Violent. This premieres Monday, March 31st from 9 to 11 Eastern Time. In the golden era of 90s family-friendly TV, child actors, they weren't just stars. They were really America's sweethearts. But for some, as you can imagine, the transition out of the spotlight dragged them down a path of crime, addiction, and violence. So they interview former child actors Brian Bonsall from Family Ties and DJ Daniels from the Hoolies. They unpack the harsh reality of life after fame. And then producers from Home Improvement and That's So Raven revealed their brush with young stars who ended up behind bars. As you can imagine, once that light is dimmed a bit and you don't have a formal education and you don't have a strong sense of self, a great team around you, it can be quite overwhelming to leave that life and try to pick up and pivot. And I think especially in the 90s, I think there was a real hands-off approach to these child actors. Well, they're really adults. I mean, they're making a lot of money. They may even be the breadwinner of their families. It's lunacy. And so going back in time and doing these interviews, I think will ultimately help young stars moving forward. So Child Stars Gone Violent episode is of Hollywood Demons. You can watch that on ID Discovery and Max. This episode is March 31st at 9. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion begins April 1st, so that's Tuesday, and it begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. On the heels of a tumultuous season, the ladies of Beverly Hills reunite to work through hurt feelings and shocking allegations. Dorit speaks about her separation and feeling unsupported by Kyle, but a surprise statement leaves her at a loss for words. I know what that statement is, by the way. Bose responds to those questioning her relationship with Keely and accusations that she was being manipulated by Dorit. Now, Garcelle has to answer for hurtful insinuations she made throughout the year, which we have seen from clips ultimately leads her to get up and walk off stage. Now, we know that I think it was the day before the finale aired, she put out a video saying that she would no longer come back to the show. And there are varying reports on what may have happened behind the scenes, but ultimately we're all looking forward to watching the reunion to see what they really felt throughout the season, and especially watching the show play back, because I find that's when they really get fired up. They're sort of clueless to how the other people are perceiving the show as they filmed it, and that's on the heels of the social media reaction too. So we're looking forward to that. In fact, go back and listen to my episode last week with Carlos King, because we talk a little bit about that too. Kind of go break the fourth wall to talk about what it's like for the women to film these kind of shows. So I think that's episode 1258, actually. So go back and listen to that. So Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, Tuesday, April 1st. Love on the Spectrum is back on Netflix on Wednesday, April 2nd. That's about people on the autism spectrum looking for love and navigating the changing world of dating and relationships. I know a lot of you really love that show, so check that out. The Southern Charm Season 10 reunion is back for another episode on Bravo. Andy sits down with the cast. Leva has just announced that she is not coming back next season as well. I suspect Taylor won't come back either. I have a sneaking suspicion. So that is one to watch. Southern Charm airs on Bravo on Thursday, March 27th, which was last week's. And then the second part is April 3rd at 8 p.m. If you love baseball, you're going to love Fight for Glory, the 2024 World Series. This is on Apple TV Plus. It begins Friday, March 28th. It takes viewers inside the 2024 World Series, offering an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at two of Major League Baseball's most iconic teams, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees, as they battled for baseball's ultimate prize, a World Series championship. Of course, we all know the Dodgers won. And I think this is absolutely one to watch, especially if you have kids at home who love baseball, but really just love sports docs. I love a great sports doc, Lord knows that. And I'm really looking forward to that as well. So Apple TV Plus, Fight for Glory, 2024 World Series on March 28th. This show is sponsored by Liquid IV. Now, you know I've said that my goal this year is to stay more hydrated. You can gift yourself the everyday indulgence of extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV, powered by Live Hydroscience. They've got true-to-fruit flavors that keep you hydrated. And you can find all your favorite hydration multiplier flavors on their website. I have to say my favorite flavor is the sugar-free raspberry lemonade, because it's a bright, zero sugar flavor combining notes of ripe, freshly picked raspberries and citrusy, zesty lemon. And it really gets me going on my day. I think you're going to love it too. I like feeling like I'm hydrated all day long. And if you're somebody who's outdoors or plays sports, this is an absolute must-have. You can break the mold and own your own ritual. Just one stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. It's 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, and also 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. Treat yourself to extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code KateCasey at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code KateCasey at liquidiv.com.
Today, the beverage aisle looks a lot different than it used to. America's beverage companies are working together. We're delivering the options everyone wants. In fact, nearly 60% of beverages Americans buy have zero sugar. You'll find more variety than ever, including more of your favorites, now available with zero sugar. You'll also find more sizes and clear calorie information on the front of every can, bottle, and pack. We know when it comes to finding balance, the more choices, the better.
If you love true crime, I've already watched a couple episodes. You will be enthralled. Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer. There are going to be 3 episodes. It premieres globally on March 31st. Young women who worked in the sex industry were disappearing from New York City and Long Island, and no one was looking for them. Then in 2010, female remains were found in the Gilgo Beach area of Long Island, leading to a string of additional discoveries, all of which seemed to be connected. The case of the Long Island serial killer remained unsolved for 13 years. That was until July of 2023 when the police arrested a suspect. This documentary series is from Academy Award nominated and Emmy Award-winning director Liz Garbus. She also did Lost Girls. Comes the definitive look at the twists and turns in a case that dominated headlines and is still developing in real time. And I can speak to that because Jonathan Mark is really involved in this case. And so I've been talking about it with him for years. And I'm very happy that he can finally talk to all of you about what's been happening behind the scenes. So the background is that between 2010 and 2011, police uncovered the remains of 11 people found near Gilgo Beach between Nassau and Suffolk counties on Long Island. Most of them were sex workers who were killed as early as 1996, according to Suffolk County Police. The investigators have long suspected that a serial killer was responsible, but they also said that the victims were unlikely murdered by the same killer. So maybe more than one serial killer. The dead included Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, Shannon Gilbert, Amberlynn Costello, Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthelemy, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes. All were in their 20s. Police said they were unable to determine the cause of death for Shannon Gilbert, whose disappearance led to the discovery of the string of slayings, but her death was likely accidental, a conclusion that her family disputed. So, in July of 2023, there's a major break in the case with the arrest of Rex Heuermann, a 60-year-old architect. Cell phone location data and DNA samples found on the remains initially tied him to the 4 women, but since his arrest, several pieces of evidence have pointed to him as the suspect. He lived in Massapequa Park, where a few of the victims were last seen, and a witness described seeing a victim, Costello, driven by a man in a Chevrolet Avalanche. It was later discovered that Rex owned a Chevrolet Avalanche. So subpoenas and search warrants linked Rex to multiple burner cell phones used to contact victims, and an email associated with his suspected burner cell phone was repeatedly used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic, torture-related pornography, and child pornography, according to court records. So that is an absolute one to watch. Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer, all episodes are available on March 31st, and I will absolutely be covering that. And then lastly, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago and interviewed the co-directors of Manhunt Osama bin Laden, 3-part docuseries that gives an in-depth look at how the world mobilized to hunt down Osama bin Laden after the orchestrations of the September 11th, 2001 attacks on the United States. Happy to tell you it will finally air on May 14th on Netflix. When I tell you that is an absolute must-watch, I mean it. So that is your list. So again, I want to make sure that you know to watch Hollywood Demons, Child Stars Gone Violent on March 31st, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion April 1st, Love on the Spectrum is April 2nd, Southern Charm, the second part of the reunion, is on April 3rd at 8 p.m. on Bravo, Fight for Glory 2024 World Series Apple TV Plus, March 28th, Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer, March 31st, and again, that Osama bin Laden doc series actually is going to actually air on May 14th. They pushed it back. So as always, make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast. Make sure that you leave a 5-star review. Join the Facebook group, Reality Life with KKC. Bonus episodes on Patreon, patreon.com/KKC. My what to watch list is at katecasey.substack.com. And please follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at @KKCCA, TikTok, it's KKC, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at @KKC. Check back tomorrow for an all-new episode.
At 24, I lost my narrative, or rather, it was stolen from me. And the Monica Lewinsky that my friends and family knew was usurped by false narratives, callous jokes, and politics. I would define reclaiming as to take back what was yours. Something you possess is lost or stolen, and ultimately you triumph in finding it again. So I think listeners can expect me to be chatting with folks, both recognizable and unrecognizable names, about the way that people have navigated roads to triumph. My hope is that people will finish an episode of Reclaiming and feel like they filled their tank up. They connected with the people that I'm talking to and leave with maybe some nuggets that help them feel a little more hopeful. Follow Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Reclaiming early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.